We'll see if they can split up the Huni ReignOver. Can't have your cake and ice cream.
Let's see. Maybe Immortals will ban out the Kog'Maw just for that one case where they're like, you know what? The craziest thing would be a freeze got Kog'Maw, and then they built the whole protect Cog comp around him, and then he's just ridiculous late game if you can protect him. But first on the board is going to be the Kalista, so they are targeting freeze. Whoa, double down on the targeting freeze. That's a good strategy for Immortals. You know, like we said, they don't take any team lightly. Well, they identify the biggest strength of Renegades, and they target ban him. That is also, I sort of consider that a target ban at the AD carry. Yeah. Because that's the champion that most heavily enables your AD carry.
All right, Crumbzz back onto a champion that's been swimming around in his pool for quite some time. So Gragas should be good. We could see a different kind of style here from Renegades, all in with everybody going in 5-on-5. We'll see how Immortals kind of goes against this. That's the composition they like to play, so maybe they'll say, let's fight.
WildTurtle has definitely preferred Lucian, his most heavily preferred AD carry as of the most recent times. I mean, he's definitely likes the Kalista, and he's had some good Kalista games. But very happy with the early Lucian pick for himself, especially with Kalista being taken out. He really does stand up there. The one big thing that's standing out to me is maybe this Corki comes through for a pick for Renegades. That's what I would expect for them right now. Alex has played it in the mid lane. It's a huge, huge power pick right now. It would be scary to give that over to Immortals. The one thing that Immortals are currently lacking, though, is crowd control. If they have ReignOver take this Rumble, you know, could be a trick. They could go with a solo lane Rumble. But if ReignOver is on this champion, this will be one of the few times where ReignOver is on a champion that doesn't have crowd control to affect the game early. So this might be a good opening for Renegades. This might even be a good sign for them.
Maybe a way to get under the skin of that very aggressive early game jungler. Or maybe ReignOver's thinking to himself, nobody's really going to ban this because nobody can really play it here. If I get a for sure pick, we may get a for sure comp.
And again, when I see an early pick of something like this, I'm always curious if they're using it as a flex, but curious if they are going to have a Huni surprise and have him take it top lane instead to try and fake out Renegades. But
Huni surprise.
Here comes the Adrian surprise. Surprise, not surprise. He's been playing Soraka for 2 seasons now.
Yep.
He didn't play in the LCS last season, but he played a tremendous amount in solo queue. But here it comes again. So there is a lot of siege here from Immortals. Rumble does, while he does bring the giant ultimate for backline, it can also be used very effectively in tower sieging. Huge amount of zone control, and the rest of the team can kind of sit back with Lux and Soraka to try and poke around.
They definitely put the five-man fight in there, coming in from Renegades.
I do like this from Renegades. Very, very strong front line here. And I'm glad that Gragas is back in the mix. He's one of the more exciting jungle champions because he's very versatile, depending on how you want to use your ultimate to engage or disengage. And Renegades are definitely going to lock in a bunch of hard engage for themselves because they see the beginnings of this siege with the Lux, Soraka, Lucian, and Rumble all having very big...
Ekko again.
Whoa, okay. So
yeah, he loves those carries in the top lane, whatever he can get to kind of put pressure and able to have kill potential. It's got to be one of those champions.
It is going to be heavily loaded on magic damage. The only damage that's not magic damage is going to come straight from Turtle. So if you're running a team like this, it's kind of scary to do that because, you know, if Malphite gets a good ultimate, you know, or Gragas blasts Turtle into their team and they actually blow up Turtle, or, you know, or Adrian and takes him down in the subsequent skirmish, then you're left with only magic damage. But, you know, facing a Malphite, it is always nice to have that nice lane matchup of going Ekko into Malphite and having that AP versus him. Maybe we'll see RF build an early Abyssal or something like that. We have seen some...
The targets he's looking at could be zeroed out if he played more of an AP Malphite. So you get a Lucian, you get a Lux fast enough before that shield goes out. But looking at Immortals comp again, they always bring something to the table where if they get an inch of a lead, they will continue to run you down.
There are threats from all 3 lanes here from Immortals. There are threats from not only all 3 lanes, but also the jungle. So there are damage threats, 4 damage threats. Everybody, except for Adrian, is looking to take you from 100 to 0.
Pain is the name of the game. Will Renegades show that gods can bleed, or Immortals continue their winning streak? Let us know by tweeting at LOL Esports with the hashtag RENWin or the hashtag IMTWin. And you will figure out how that vote is going halfway through. We are going to get into the rift for our second game here in week 6. It's going quick, and these teams want to get the wins now. One here for Renegades would be huge for more than one reason. Let's see what they can do. Renegades versus Immortals, and we are on the Rift.
All right, so something that has been covered pretty well and everyone talking about Jungle Rumble is the clear speed. The clear speed is the first thing that you see, the first thing that you notice. It's very easy, it's very quick for him, and he can power farm up to that level 6 where the all-important equalizer becomes available. However, Rumble's also does a very significant amount of damage if you try and invade him early. If you even try and find him at a camp, he can easily turn this around. So we very rarely will we see people stand and fight Rumble unless they have some sort of fog advantage or brush advantage and they get the early jump on him. Doesn't have too many defensive stats, so you can burst him down if you have a coordinated play. However, in the 1v1, you have to be very very wary of the early damage.
Let's see. Have to be pretty aware of the gauge, making sure your heat is up for ReignOver, or Rumble that is, getting that extra damage out, so you'll see him doing that quite a bit. Also looking at Turtle, going very thematic on Lucian. He has his call to start this one off, so he's going to be farming his face off.
Oh, interesting, yeah. So they're definitely looking for some hard farm from both ReignOver and WildTurtle, it looks like. Plus, you know, if you have Soraka on in your bottom lane, then you can definitely afford to go cull and wait for that payout, because the lane should be very easy for you to farm as long as Adrian doesn't get hit by a Q flash from Braum. And Adrian's actually been very, very good at positioning with Soraka in lane phase, so Immortals feel confident.
Always like watching Freeze in those early waves. Looks for as many autos as he can get.
Huni also always looks for as many harassment opportunities as he can get. Early on, he gains wave control, pushes up his wave, then he goes immediately for harass when he has minion advantage, forcing it with Ekko, forcing RF to CS under turret with Malphite, one of the more difficult things to do. We'll see. Oh, misses one already.
He'll miss that next one as well if he doesn't shard. So making it pretty difficult for him.
Yep.
Seems to be doing nicely at the turret. Huni also missed a few CS freely on the way in, so they should be leveling quite the same.
Sure enough. I do love standard lanes, though. Frees up the junglers. We get to see a real jungler skill expression in standard lanes, I feel like.
Well, here's
there's so many options for them. Crumbzz is going for the invade and snuck the ward in. I believe ReignOver wasn't looking.
There's a double blue ping.
Maybe
so that's only coming from Renegades. I don't think that they did.
I think he snuck it in, because there is that wall. You can place it right there. It was in fog. And
oh, he threw the barrel out early. Not sure if the barrel connected. Did see? Yeah, it did. Okay. I was like, barrel didn't do damage, but they get what they need out of it. This is going to be the TP quite early. Huni was already pushed up, so he can definitely add pressure with the phase dive. Time Winder doesn't fully connect. Huni does flash forward. They're going very hard for this. It's Hakuho who gets caught up now. He's able to stand by and get to Crumbzz. Wow.
And you could tell
a lot of aggression from Immortals.
Really wanted to force that.
So hungry.
Not only did they burn the teleport, but once they burned the teleport, they didn't want that teleport to go to waste, so they ended up burning a whole bunch of flashes after the ultimate. Both Huni and ReignOver expending their flashes early. That's a very good sign for Renegades, because Huni and ReignOver are the early playmakers. Usually it's those two in tandem, and that's going to relieve a lot of pressure from RF. With Crumbzz going for that jungle invade, he didn't get a steal or take much away, but does relieve a lot of pressure on the top side of the map. Does burn 2 flashes for just his on Gragas. So that's very big, because Gragas has mobility of his own, constant body slamming, so the missed flash will not hurt him nearly as much. And I expect, actually, now after that, ReignOver just to completely commit to the hard farm. Without flash and without ultimate, he's just going to try and get 6.
Well, that was super ReignOver teleport as well. If he gets that kill, then he rolls over his lane. That's all he needs. And ReignOver is that type of player. So like you said, missing out on that. He will try to hard farm, but he's probably still going to be going for those kills no matter what. 7K to 6.8, so really just the lead and the swip swap of who was leaving lanes and CSing a little harder before they left.
And actually, we are seeing that top lane difference balloon a little bit here. RF's got an early Null Magic Mantle. This is going to make the lane a lot better for him. That combined with the Corrupting Potion, he should be the first one to level 6, and he's got a teleport ready. So Renegades have the opportunity to call for a very early level 6 Malphite teleport play and force the engage on Soraka. Her biggest weakness is hard engage. She's extended in the lane, but they do not have a ward in a good place to teleport on. And it would be Crumbzz the one to have to sneak in there, maybe sneak a ward somewhere behind Immortals' bottom line.
Ooh.
They wanted to make that play because if Hakuho tried to do it, Turtle and Adrian would see him, and it's very hard to sneak one of those in. And it's also very telegraphed because, hey, we have a Malphite top lane. We definitely want to make a teleport play.
And that can happen. Nobody could stop him. Level 6 is up. Just need the wards in place. Looking now, AlexEish got a little help from Crumbzz in the mid lane, which reveals him, but nobody's making big moves right now anyways, so everybody's just trying to get back and get the items they can for now. Adrian.
There's the ward, and there's the teleport play.
Whew. Very aggressive
that they
Renegades.
were trying to set up.
Yep.
So yeah, they had the same idea, but Adrian was able to not only defensively ward, but also flash away. Soraka's definitely got a big target on the back of his head right now, though. No flash on Soraka.
He's got the exhaust for somebody. They're looking to really just push him out of lane here. Look at control over bot. And now Crumbzz can start to mess with the jungle a little bit. So ReignOver's going to come down. This is where they have to be careful. ReignOver he's 75% to 6.
The thing is, Crumbzz used all of his wards, so he couldn't get a deeper ward in there for RF to teleport on.
There it is.
Yeah, you got to run now. ReignOver has been able to get to an early 6. No jungle fighting versus level 6 Rumble. It will turn that around on you very quickly. So Renegades, you could tell what they were trying to do there, and they almost were able to set that play up. Immortals definitely saw it coming, though. Very clear that you want to try and make use of the teleport discrepancy in your level 6 Malphite, but...
Oh, Pobelter!
Caught.
Clearing the ward! He may have not wanted it that bad! Flashes out the laser on top of the equalizer. They try to get him to match, but they do not
They matched all right. They just both missed.
It's true.
In the match.
You're not a liar. The cleanse there from AlexEish. No summoner used, but the body slam to get out for Crumbzz.
Yeah,
or I guess the walk away here.
That combo will be way more devastating if the light binding holds them in place. If they do hit a light binding right before, but you got to hit the snare first. It's the early damage here from Rumble. Crumbzz is able to get the last hit on the full camp though, and here comes the collapse. RF does have ulti, and now it's ReignOver.
Oh, this could be bad. RF Legendary, that's the ultimate coming in, and that's going to be First Blood Renegades.
First time that we've seen an early misstep by Immortals actually transition into them being punished. Renegades punished them very hard. Huni was not able to answer and push up his lane and roam with ReignOver.
Yeah.
Fairly rare mistake actually from ReignOver, where he went for a very deep invade and actually went to contest the wolves, even though both solo lanes were not really in a position to get there first.
Right.
And props to Renegades for the early collapse of both of their solo laners. Being able to first blood ReignOver. I believe that's the first time ReignOver hasn't been the one getting first blood for his team in every single Immortals game.
WildTurtle stole the last one, but Immortals still got it.
Did ReignOver touch the first blood though? Did he help? maybe not. Maybe I missed that one. But this is definitely the first time that he's been the one to go down.
Yeah,
his first blood.
That's absolutely true. Renegades enjoying their time of being on top here, a little bit of gold. Hopefully they don't let it go, because you know Immortals bite back immediately. You see WildTurtle just about 30 CS off of finishing the call. Already going for that Essence Reaver, so he'll be quite big. And we're still waiting for the ultimates from ReignOver and Pobelter to hit. So there's that Renegades has to avoid.
Yeah.
So far so good, but we've only just begun.
Like we talked about in Champ Select, the one thing they may be lacking is that hard CC. There, I mean, there is the light binding, there is the Ekko W, and it has a possibility of being a big AoE stun to set something up, but it is fairly difficult to land that in a time-sensitive situation.
Whoa.
You have a good fog advantage.
The body slam for a little bit of ground game from Crumbzz means they really want this bot lane. Huni comes in. Hakuho is going to be able to deny quite a bit of damage here.
Ooh, the collapse.
On back to Turtle. That's going to be the Equinox down as well. Adrian doing everything he can, but he's watching his team go down. Renegades just a few steps ahead on each play. Here comes ReignOver. The laser doesn't even hit that hard from Final Spark. And Immortals is getting torn apart. They don't want to go too far on the side of Renegades because they know it can go bad, and they're happy with what they got.
Braum, everybody must be excited for Renegades right now. They're doing it, but they're down in gold because Immortals just got that turret. So, even though Immortals actually lose out in the play with the advantage there in kills, sort of going over to Renegades, they did get the turret first. So Immortals are slightly ahead in gold despite
that pressure,
losing out those kills. But man, look at this and the setup here. The multiple options for the teleports to come in on. Good back off here from Freeze. They avoid the initial burst there from Huni with Hakuho going to go in and take it, and the collapse from two members. Flash ultimate hits almost everybody. They zone WildTurtle off away from Adrian so they can focus him down. And Alex collapses really early. The laser actually only hit RF on the Malphite as well, so everything going very well for Renegades in that team fight. But Immortals got the turrets, plus actually it might have been pretty even. Here comes Crumbzz for another play up top, though. ReignOver's answering.
The minions don't make it any easier. Running right into the wave pretty much stops the Winter's bite. So does ReignOver and Adrian being there as well. We're getting a back from Pobelter in mid. He's about 20 CS up now. It's about 20 CS up. Coming back to lane should be pretty good over Alex Each. Still cleansing off any of the attacks. We have seen Renegades coming up quite strong, but it could be what we saw last game. And the fact that Immortals will just play around Renegades. They may be able to get kills, but Immortals will get the objectives.
There is that. Ooh, huge chunk onto Turtle. Can he get the last hit?
Nope.
Cannot. Still a significant chunk. Adrian going to have to pot up after that. But yeah, all 3 kills did go to Malphite so far, which is... I mean, there is an argument to getting Malphite to a very beefy mid-game state.
Right.
But it definitely would have been optimal if they could have gotten those over anyone else. Just no one was in position to grab it. But regardless, they are going to have the 3-man siege up top here. And Turtle and Adrian got to be careful about the dive.
Straight took the turret. Hakuho has it. Gets a little bit more defense. That's going to be the concussive blows. The turret. Turtle stood behind the turret, and Freeze couldn't match the shots he needed to. They denied the dive. There's the heal. Freeze wants to stay in it, but he can't win it. And Adrian and Turtle stay alive. That's going to be Adrian going down finally by the Peacemaker, staying too long.
Pobelter's actually getting collapsed on here. The answer from Alex.
Got to be careful. There's a lot of do-si-doing going on. Who's got the best moves? Belter's in. That's the Thunderlord's proc coming off. One last hit. The prismatic barrier will not be enough, and Belter falls too. Renegades is pushing themselves to the limit.
Meanwhile, down bottom, RF lost another turret. So Immortals get another turret for themselves. They get more global gold, even though Renegades are looking good. They're doing so much better than anyone thought they would, especially against Immortals, and they get a turret for themselves finally. The outer turrets are standing gold that Renegades, if they keep stacking up these kills, they now will have the power to take that extra standing gold and try and realize a gold lead, even though they keep on winning these fights and they get some outplays here. They're still behind in the global gold, and Immortals still in a very good position to take team fights if they do group up.
Woo,
but yeah, look at this. So they focus Turtle because Crumbzz, what he tries to do with the Gragas ultimate is knock Adrian away out of heal range, but they can't burst him right now. I think he autos the turret. Freeze autoed that turret instead of Turtle. And man, Crumbzz barely living right there just because he did finally get that last turret off. But look at this. Everybody had kind of a unanimous cheer right there because nobody really likes Soraka players. And Adrian goes down. But here's the answer for the roam, and Pobelter kind of forgot about Alex trailing him here. And that's just a good cleanup for Renegades, as Alex was right behind him. Yeah, so that's kind of a trap that you can fall into coming from the mid lane. You want to roam, and you roam first, and you think, oh, great, I'm here. Can we try and make something happen? But you've got a counterpart right behind you looking to answer. And Renegades 5-1 versus Immortals.
Gotta keep the pressure up. They gotta find the objectives. They gotta make the turrets fall, and it might be a ReignOver that falls next. They gotta be careful of their aggression. The teleport comes in. Ekko is also from the bottom. Huni has gotten himself into this fight, and he's just on the backside and too far away from the rest of the team. Hakuho very close to going down, looking for the laser, and just a sliver of health.
They're doing
Stays
it,
alive.
Another pick here from Immortals. Crumbzz has 100% kill participation this game on Gragas. Being back in the meta, very, very good champion for him. He went with the Cinderhulk this time, but he's gonna get another pick on Pobelter.
They're spreading it perfectly too. Caitlyn stops WildTurtle, or rather Freeze stops Turtle from taking the turret. The top lane, Renegades gets a little heavy-handed in mid. Could have put more damage on the turret, but they want the kills. Now as everybody takes a breath, Renegades and Immortals will as well. Fill up the mana bars, and we'll see this fight
These
again.
coordinated teleports from Renegades. When they have teleport up, Malphite ultimate available, they look for a pick. Crumbzz has enabled that ability. Hakuho has done such a good job this game as well with the Braum, following up on a lot of CC. Able to
Huni
land the ult there. And this is
break
all
there.
skill as well. Still had the shield on him, which saved his life.
Yikes.
Woo.
Huni wasn't even able to chrono break. He died so quick with the crowd control in that fight, so a few misclicks as well. And Immortals.
They still have a gold lead.
Still have a gold lead.
Every time I gotta mention it, even though Renegades keep getting these team fight wins, keep getting all these kills, Immortals still with the gold lead.
Really coming out of the top lane in the jungle, if you're looking at the inventory right now, about 700 gold in favor of ReignOver over Crumbzz.
That's that
and
hard
about 200
farming,
for Huni.
the
right.
hard farming
Yes.
of ReignOver. Though we haven't seen him much, it's because he's been hard farming while Crumbzz has been trying to make plays. Look at the level discrepancy here. Level 9 Crumbzz to level 11 ReignOver, since ReignOver's been trying to just farm those camps and he's using Rumble's clear speed. Whereas Crumbzz is looking for those picks and getting the kills for his team, you know, setting up a lot of these plays. Crumbzz also does kind of focus heavily on vision, and he spends a lot of time waiting in brush. So that does take a toll on the experience income for the jungler. As of right now, you can see ReignOver just cleared another camp, and now he's looking to collapse, whereas Crumbzz waiting, setting up the play. Waiting, waiting.
Depending on what the team does, they're getting pings onto Huni and pings onto Dragon, so there may be a two-man there with a little bit of help from Pobelter to stop people from coming down. Renegades still really liking the top side of this jungle, even though they took the Rift Herald just a bit ago.
Yeah, meanwhile, Huni is actually going to push the wave all the way up to Inhibitor Turret. Since they took the secondary one long ago, remember when they were outnumbered on top side, had two people bottom. There's going to be the Dragon here, first Dragon of the game, and first Dragon for Immortals very easily.
Yeah. Immortals are definitely giving respect here to Renegades in their engages and their movements. You see a lot of play from Immortals just go mid lane here and try to make the fight. Huni's still kind of on that trigger. Goes for Alex each to see if he can burst them out of mid.
Yeah, early cleanse there because he doesn't want to get chunked out from Alex. Pobelter was a little ways away from collapsing, so we'll see if he gets punished for not having cleanse up, but as of right now, Renegade's looking to get some of that standing gold back for themselves, even up the turret count.
Pick it up.
And just edge into the gold lead. 100 gold there for themselves ahead. After all their hard work. So much of a farm advantage, though, for Immortals is where all this gold is coming from. 6 kills worth, with Huni absolutely demolishing RF in farm, ReignOver absolutely demolishing Crumbzz in farm.
But RF is still cool because he has 2 hoodies. 2 spectral collars.
Oh yeah, he's really stacking up the magic.
Getting on the MR.
It's kind of the thing that we alluded to in Champ Select where, yeah, there is so much magic damage on this Immortals team, and there's an option for Malphite to go magic damage if they can blow up Turtle. But that is hard to do when there's a Soraka on the team, so Renegade's teamfight kind of does, while they do have plenty of tools to do it with, you know, they've got so much CC and so much zone control with the Ori and Gragas, they're gonna have to make sure that Turtle doesn't stay up the entire fight, because that's a huge amount of damage. If you're facing the Lucian, and even if you're Malphite, if you haven't built armor, Turtle can just peel right through that front line. Crumbzz not going to build armor either. They're pretty much all-inning on this blow up turtle. You know, sort of separate him from Soraka, I think would be the optimal play. Try and get a godlike Gragas barrel to just separate them. Because I don't think you'll have enough time to burn through both Soraka and then try to target switch over the turtle and burn through him also.
Right. You're going to have shields and heals. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it.
Huni trying to put a little pressure on the bot. Also looking at Pobelter's inventory. Did not see when he grabbed that. His ring. Dark Seal.
Looking good here for Renegades, though. They definitely have a ton of magic resist with the early Aegis being completed. Their team fight is extremely strong as long as they can either zone or kill turtle. The tools.
Look at this dance.
Ready.
They walk up through the bottom side of the jungle. They're going to see each other. That may start somewhat of a poke fight here. Just really Pobelter in range for that one. ReignOver is trying to keep himself heated up so he can completely demolish the team if they need it. Turtle's backing. And it looks like Huni's going to have to stay safe here.
So interesting. The other thing that we were sort of wondering about in Champion Select was this move for ReignOver to go with jungler that only has slows in his kit.
Yeah.
He's been sort of the crux of the team fight for Immortals in most of their games. He's been off to an early lead, so he gets fairly tanky early on.
Yes.
And he's almost always been on a champion that does have hard CC. But this time around, he's just going to try and layer on the damage, and it's up to Pobelter and Huni to kind of try and set it up with these skills that are fairly hard to set plays up with. It's more of a team that kind of wants to turn around a team fight and maybe disengage until they get a re-engage opportunity for themselves and counter it.
Everything in the early game for Immortals was much more team-oriented than usual. Usually we'll see Huni, ReignOver do things, but it was Huni teleporting as soon as possible to plays.
It's because, you know, what they want to do with this team is get to the point where they have the early lead so they can siege up early. They have so much damage they can put out and very long-range damage that if this Immortal squad had gotten the early lead, the Lux, Rumble, Lucian early in tower sieges, you know, could be good. A lot of zone control. Trying to push them in, but didn't happen. Renegades, some very good early moves for themselves. See if they can hold on to this top side, though. They are sending a lot of resources up to the top side. Crumbzz may be looking for that ultimate placement, try and knock ReignOver in.
Oh, Freeze in the river by himself here. He looks like he's got a clean path to walk up and down, though. Nobody can catch him. Pobelter, free time in mid. He's going to drop this turret and get out quite safely.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you
Welcome
commit so many resources up top,
where is it?
He used his ultimate on the minions to fast push. I'm 95% sure.
Fire the lasers.
He had used it to earn himself that turret and earn himself the quick turret damage.
All right, worth.
But doesn't have it left over for the kill.
Well, knowing that Freeze is poked out, but 23 minutes are on the clock. That means home guards to get back. This will still leave Immortals enough time to take that top. Outers have been dropped now, so it actually bumps up the gold lead quite a bit for Immortals here, even though it's 7-1. 2,000 gold in the lead.
Big turret lead for them right now, but you have to kind of turn that turret lead and the gold you get from it into kills for yourself, into a team fight win. Because if Renegades get their team fight win, then they'll take so much gold after the fact.
Right.
Because there are standing turrets that are further out and easier to take. They can go around and collect the easy pot of gold that is hidden under most turrets.
It might be after this dragon. Already getting Scuttle Crab control will be very nice.
Lucky Charms. Turtle looking to play out the Baron, though, and get some vision for themselves. They do have a lot of damage. Remember, we pointed out that all 4 lanes, including jungle, have a lot of damage.
Oh, they just cleared it. They won't do it. So a turret was grabbed on the bot side. That means they're committed to continuing that push. It's going to be the boosted back, and they will be able to get back to this fight. Laser shot fired. Crumbzz waltzes up. He may be in a bad spot now. If Immortals can get themselves over the wall, body slams used to go towards Immortals base, so Crumbzz could get fried here. That was going to be just a deterrent ultimate coming in from Alex Each. Didn't really hit anybody in the fight. Things are just chaotic right now. Turtle could go down. It may look like he's going to live, but he finally hits the ground. RF Legendary able to pick up a kill, but this is not looking good for Renegades here as they try to start a spark. and Immortals takes it.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to kill the Soraka first and then switch over to Lucian as the team was separated, but still, 3 kills over to Immortals, plus the Baron buff to push with, so they can keep up their turret lead, take down some secondaries here.
Baroned up minions as well to start flowing down these lanes. Dragon picked up now by Immortals, and it's that one point where it kind of falls to the wayside.
Yeah.
Immortals picks everything up.
Also remember, so that got down to 300. You know, if Crumbzz had been able to get there faster or something, maybe there was a miracle attempt, but this is going to cost him his life. Look at the mini-map while all this is happening, though, because Renegades, during this play, do get 2 turrets, and that is a lot of gold for themselves, but yeah, this is the end here. They were able to take down Turtle in the end. It cost them the life of their 5-kill Malphite, though, and that is a shutdown that goes over to Immortals, and it helps them out with their global gold take afterwards.
Yep. So you can see only active on 3 of the 5 members for another minute and a half. Looks like it might just be this mid turret that Renegades can get before we see Immortals really get back to pressuring it. Nice stop by Hakuho. This may be all they can get. Huni's trying to trail behind them. Renegades, Crumbzz going in very hard. Huni is going to come in strong on the back line here. They have to be careful. Adrian gets out alive, and they have to recognize Huni was on Alex Each on the back line. They take down the support, and now they have hardly any disengage. It's going to be the dissonance coming in from Alex to keep stopping it. Parallel convergence and phase dive in from Huni. A nice equalizer. Laid sideways, already walked off by Renegades, doesn't slow him down too much. Could have been laid vertically with the team. And now, oh my God, the follow-up. Kobe, this is what we were talking about. The follow-up does not stop, one after the other. RF trying to go in, he's exhausted down. There's so many heals, shields, and exhaust that are keeping Immortals alive at a sliver of health, but making Renegades want it that much more, and costing them so much more.
With Baron buff, that is definitely going to be the inhibitor. And Immortals make a run all the way back. Renegades tried to go for a tower dive on Soraka, but they didn't have anyone in position to follow up with the damage to finish off Soraka, and Adrian lived with a sliver of health. Look at this. Crumbzz actually got Soraka isolated here, but they didn't burn enough, and Huni actually took the brunt of it, going up the zone. Freeze also got hit with a light binding. So the DPS from Renegades kind of had to back off there, and they couldn't really commit to that tower dive. Nobody had enough to finish it off.
You just get hit from every angle. Then they have the chase.
And they have the chase. And then we actually see the power of the turnaround, you know, if Renegades can get a good combo. However, this combo is not hitting the back line of Turtle and Adrian. So even though they get this huge chunk, Turtle is free to move up on the Lucian. And as we said, there's not that much armor. RF did build some, but Immortal's gonna run right through that, and that will be the inhibitor down. And they've pretty well taken control of this game now, secure for Immortals.
Look at that, 5,100 gold grab on that last Baron power play. Making it work, making sure most of the outer turrets are dropped down, and now it's just going towards the top. You can already see WildTurtle and Adrian starting to prep that, and they back, maybe not even, and will be returning to clean up the last outer turret. Huni's gonna keep it split and be a nuisance on that bottom side of the map because basically nobody can stop him now. He even has the elixir.
Yeah, not just them, they're gonna commit to this double split push here. 3-1-1 for Immortals, and Renegades can, yes, they can finish off a few hundred life on that turret, but it's going to cost them another
Huni's got the
inhibitor
Lich Bane.
and 2 turrets. Not a good trade.
Huni basically takes it just as fast as the guys in the top lane of WildTurtle and Adrian, and now they're going for inhibitors. Yeah, easy. It does not. It looks like actually as well.
Renegades they're zoning up from the Nexus.
They tried to come back, and now this is not going to work out for them. WildTurtle and Huni get to the Nexus turrets. That's one down. Hakuho throwing down the Glacial Fissure to try and stop the escape and keep the fight. They want this to go for broke and take down Immortals, but if they don't, it is the game. Adrian is going to fall. Huni's already down. The ultimates have been used there, and it is going to be Renegades cleaning this up. A few more kills, not going to happen on a Pobelter, so if Pobelter, Turtle can both live, that means there's no push pressure either from Renegades.
That their base just got demolished for a maybe 150 life on that mid turret that they were able to take down with the 5-man commit straight up mid. Immortals with a great call right there, though. Pretty easy to just split on both sides, and That Lichbane definitely doing work for Huni as they just take out another inhibitor.
Looking around items, also summoners up and down. I hadn't mentioned it yet, but looking at Belter, Turtle as well, both of them running heals with the Soraka. They have, even though it's kind of a diminishing return, they are heals on heals just to keep themselves alive in fights like this.
Yeah, and so Immortals, the rest of the team did a good job zoning out Renegades, but then Huni actually engages this. So this
a little too hard.
This 2-for-1 that it ends up with, where Renegades get 2 kills off the backside, is because of that. However, Pobelter was able to burst one down, and Turtle got in there to finish off that kill. So it wasn't the worst thing, but a little bit dirty play right there. A lack of execution from Immortals inside the base. Won't really hurt them. They do have 2 inhibitors marching in, and they've got a significant gold lead, so should be able to close out if they just keep up the pressure here. All they have to do, keep pressure top, wait for the super minions to work their way in towards that single Nexus turret. Renegades going for the play, though.
It's a TP party! Huni's on the other side, doesn't come in quite as fast. It's going to be right onto the middle of... Oh, my word! You read my mind, Kobe! ReignOver, the rest of the team going in. That was the final spark for this one, ladies and gentlemen. A few more catches, a few more kills. Huni's going to flash phase dive in and get a face full of Gragas. That's Crumbzz going down, and now it's going to be Immortals finally pulling the trigger, putting down the pressure. Huni goes down valiantly in the last push, and it's going to take 31 minutes, coming up on 32 now. 13-12 after there are hardly any kills in this game. Now we see Immortal trying to scrape up whatever is left on the map. The Nexus is the only thing left as Pobelter picks up a double kill, and Immortals take down Renegades.
There you go. We got to see what happens when the light binding hits and you land both ultimates. The line damage. Ending the game with fireworks.
That's the sting you feel outside of game.
They honestly had a very strong early game where they were able to keep the gold competitive with Immortals.
They could never eke out the lead, though. It was always just a scotch behind.
Huge farm advantages for Immortals during the early stages. CS lead as well as tower leads are what kept them calm and kept them secure.
Let's see this guy. Let me open up this graph here. At the end of the game, I was seeing that ReignOver had that Rabadon's death cap quite a bit, but he still didn't do the most damage. But there was so much damage between everyone on this team, a full team participation. Over 17,000 for 2 members of
the 4-man carry here from Immortals.
You said it, there are 4 dangers to this game, 4 threats, and they all did 16,000+ damage, except for Adrian. Go figure. He did 16,000.
Come on, Adrian, your Soraka game.
Healing.
Gotta step that up.
On the other side, Freeze, obviously Alex East trying to put out the damage on Caitlyn and Orianna, but just was not enough with all the factors that they were facing.
Yeah.
A very much more coordinated early game we saw coming in from Crumbzz and the rest of the team, giving themselves vision, pushing up. But like we said, every time it looked like Renegades were getting that fight, winning an advantage, getting something, it was actually energy that was knocking on the back door and getting something more.
Yeah, Immortals.
Or Immortals, thank you.
Immortals.
Words.
Even though they were getting killed, it didn't seem like any of the members were panicking or feeling pressured because they kept their focus on the farm and on the turrets, and then they were able to wait and bide their time until they could get that team fight win.
Great team fight it was. What we're right now